Welcome to the show where we start with hello, we say hi, we say bye, but not now, because we just started. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of 15 or 50 minutes with Phedre. So, today I am going to be speaking about physical. Okay, I'm actually going to be speaking about fitness and speaking about my journey.
In the world of fitness, yeah. So pretty much,
We all know that weight loss and fitness are pretty much things that are conflated. That's the way that we see it most of the time. That's the way that no, don't want that. That's the A. That's the way that that's the way that this society understands fitness. It's weight loss oriented, and the weight loss industry is responsible for this. I mean, the weight loss industry and the cosmetic industry. So everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, obviously you know this. Get abs fast, lose weight, this, blah, 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 all that crap. So this is something that we grow up with. It's like, you just grow up with that. Like, it's a thing that weight loss is a thing, and that at some point in your life you should go on some kind of mission to lose weight. And when you think about that, like, okay, from where I am now, so this is what I'm going to be speaking about. Where I am now in my life, it's like, that's fucking crazy. It's the most insane thing in the world to, it's just, I am constantly shook at the fact that this is really the world that we're living in. I'm like, weight loss is not a goal. Oh my god, it's like, yeah. Anyway, so so pretty much where I stand is when it comes to food. So all those things are connected, obviously. So where I stand in relation to eating and health. Another one of those things that fall into the constellation of fitness. So health, exercise, eating right, all those things. So where I stand in regards to that now is I don't give a fuck at all about any of it, and I encourage everyone not to give a fuck at all about any of it. I mean, you should, because So I'm gonna get more into that. So pretty much, I was not always like this. It's only in 2017, so it's in 2017 where I was completely freed from all the nonsense and completely, like 100% free. Now when I have a conversation with a person about health or eating and stuff like that, and they say, I mean, I want to eat whatever I want, but I still want to like be healthy and like eat right. When people say things like that, I'm like,
bitch, that word does not mean what you think it means. It means whatever the fuck you want. It is whatever.
Because I'm just gonna like, what's the thing? Spoiler alert. I'm just gonna spoil what I'm gonna also like get back to at the end. Pretty much, it's your body, and only you're the one who has the wisdom to know what it means. You and only you and you alone, no one else, absolutely no one and nothing, absolutely no one and nothing other than you can know exactly what your body needs. What your body needs, what your life needs, what your soul needs is all you and you alone, and it's all a matter of connecting to that intuition. And throughout my journey, like a huge thing, something that I discovered, and that many other people have discovered and know and blah blah blah. But I discovered the truth of the trust in the gut. So the expression, trust your gut.
Just trust your gut, man. Just trust your gut. 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 Trust your gut. 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 Trust your gut. 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 Trust your gut. 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 Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. 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 Trust your gut. So that.
Um, I discovered the truth of it, like the truth, like the real deal truth of it, like for myself through my own experience. And pretty much, yeah, uh, your intuition is highly connected to your gut, and it's highly connected to your eating patterns and blah blah blah. Yeah, to your food and yeah, to your eating patterns. And the way that you go about choosing how you eat reflects the way you go about relating to your intuition. Now, the more connected to yourself you are, the more you learn to listen to your body, the more those two are just gonna like be the same. You're gonna eat so intuitively. It's no longer gonna be a thing of worrying about I had this morning and then I can't have that later because of XYZ, or having this belief that you need to starve yourself in order to eat something later. All that absolute bullshit nonsense. Oh my god, I can't believe that I used to do stuff like that. It's horrifying. Um yeah, so pretty much, yeah, so my journey and like how I got here and all that jazz. So 2017 is when I was freed from all this nonsense, because halfway through 2016 I got into I went on a weight loss mission. So I went on like an official, I mean, like throughout my life, like most people um in this society that grows up with the influence of believing weight loss is the most normal thing in the world, and just pretty much growing up with the influence of the clever marketing of people who are trying to make money off of you not knowing yourself. Um, so growing up with that influence, I had like, you know, many different like, okay, go on tiny diets here, there, blah blah. I mean, everyone's has a different thing. You know, some people are picky eaters, all that shit. Um, but I pretty much like really discovered the world of eating issues, and just really being aware of how other people were going through the same shit as I did. Because in 2016, yeah, because of my weight loss mission that I went on, but now this one is like an official one, because I was 2016, I was 21. Yeah, so I was 21 in 2016, and I was like, I don't know, it's like now I'm living alone, I'm living on my terms, and I still really wasn't, but it was more than living with my parents. And it's just like, I want to now, like, I want to be the person I want to be, you know that thing. And I still want to be the person I want to be. And I'm gonna talk about that as well by the end of the video, how I'm now doing something that would seem contradictory to what I'm saying now, but you'll see. Anyway, so, yeah, I was like on this mission. I want to be what I want to be. I want to be this bitch. It was like, yeah, I want to like be skinny and stuff. The thing that's hilarious is that, I mean, I'm slim. I've been called skinny by a few people. Like, I've been called skinny by a few people, and I'm like, I'm not skinny. I'm not a skinny person. I'm slim. Cause yeah, I have grease, lol grease. I mean like flesh. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. So, but yeah. So anyway, like, when you think about this whole thing of weight loss, the ideal that's set up is to lose weight so that you can be skinny or slim or whatever. So technically speaking, I did not need to lose any weight. I didn't need to think that I needed to lose any weight. But I did, because I didn't see myself as worthy. I didn't see myself as, yeah, I was under the spell, I was under the bullshit, and I thought that I needed to lose weight because I need to have 2% body fat, and which is what the fuck, and I need to be 55 kilos, even though this is the most horrible thing for my age, my height, and just my fucking like body thingy. Yeah, so but that was not anything that was in my mind at all. It was just like, you know, you lose weight, and then when you lose weight you're like fucking like
everything in God and oh my God.
I think it's so ridiculous now. Like I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, I cannot even, oh my god, what the fuck were you thinking? Jeez. Anyway, right. So yeah, so I got into it, and like I'm a very driven person, and I'm obsessive. So when I get into something, I do it a lot, and so I have a lot of compulsions that I've had for years because I'm obsessive. Um, and so like I really wanted to lose weight, so I was really on it and obsessive and blah blah. And then I also have an obsessive compulsive mind. So I have like tendencies towards obsessive compulsive disorders as well as tendencies towards like addictions and blah blah because they're all the same thing. So all these things of essentially like maladapting iteration. Um maladapting like communication between like different spheres of the self. I like I said, became really like OCD. It triggered, yeah, it triggered my obsessive compulsive things, and I became orthorexic. I became obsessive. I became exercise bulimic. I became anorexic. I became body dysmorphic. So, like, and I was underweight. I was very underweight, and I really wish that I still had the videos that I taken when I was anorexic, but it was on my previous laptop that I spilled bong water on.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it was so horrible. I just remember the day when that happened. I was just like, la 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 la. And then it just died.
So yeah, I really wish I still had those videos, because when I saw the videos of what I looked like after I had recovered, I just, and it wasn't even like long after I had recovered, it was just like a couple weeks into recovery, but when I had already started to get water retention. So this is something I'm going to speak about. But yeah, I just couldn't believe, I could not believe what I looked like. I looked like a concentration camp survivor, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying that I didn't even see that. It was terrifying that I thought like, oh my god, this is beauty right here. I am like God. Like yeah. So as it began, like, you know, I developed a lot of habits of like body checking, things like that. So I would feel safe, like if I can see my collarbones, or if I can see like this many ribs, because yeah, if I can see this many ribs, then great, I'm not gaining weight and stuff, blah blah. And then I began eating less and less and less and less and less, and I was a restrictive eater, and I was obsessive with calorie counting, and I still have those diaries though, my food journals, yeah. So I have like about 5 or 6 of them. And then I would write everything, like, okay, this is what I'm cooking, and I'm gonna put 32 grams, and I bought a whole bunch of stuff during that phase to feed into this thing that I was doing, because, you know, you invest in what you like, so that was what I was liking at the moment. So, like, and that's the great thing about that phase, is that I really got better at cooking and understanding what goes into food, and just understanding the entire like food and nutritional world. So now I have that knowledge, and I'm very grateful for it. And I'm also grateful for having gone through that at all. But yeah, so yeah, it was just quite obsessive, and it was ridiculous, and it felt like at first, because of this tendency that I have towards obsessive compulsion, people who have that, you always feel good at the beginning because you're doing it so well, and you're performing at the high level that you want to be performing, and you're doing such a good job at not eating and just like restricting, and it's satisfying. And then but then like it was getting to, yeah, it was getting to a point where I didn't know what portions were. Like, I would really eat the tiniest portion in a day, but I really felt like that was so much food. Like, it was just like, yeah. And so this thing that became like a weight loss. First I was trying to lose weight, and then I was losing weight and stuff, obviously. But then I was just kind of like, no, this is like lifestyle now. I can totally like live like this. I was just completely like, yeah. Um, yeah, because I was like, oh my god, like, just imagine always being this skinny. Like, always like, it's disgusting. Um, yeah, so one day, like, I I don't remember exactly, but yeah, just one day I looked in the mirror. So I began this whole weight loss journey mission, like this serious weight loss mission, committed weight loss mission, focused weight loss mission, in 20, yeah, like midway through 2016, and at the end, so it was in December, yeah, but December 2016, I was like, that's when I I saw, I finally like saw, because I lost my period as well. I forgot to mention that, yeah. So I lost my period because I was underweight. And my
body was like, bitch, you can't be expecting me to make blood to come out of your vagina when I cannot even make digestion a thing because there's no food here. Can you even think? Can you even think? At this moment, I'm barely doing anything at this time. I have no fuel to work.
and then indeed, yeah, no, like I could barely think. I mean, all I could think about all the time was food. That's all I thought about. I just thought about food nonstop. Every single moment of the day, I just thought about food, 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 but I barely ate. Yeah, so I thought about food all the time, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make that, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make that. And then I would make these things, and I would have like so much shit stocked up in the freezer, and I was like, okay, like 2 weeks later, like I still haven't eaten this. Okay, I'm not gonna eat that. Okay, fuck, I can eat this, I can make this, I can make that, and then I'm not gonna eat. But I can make this, and then I'm not gonna eat it. But I can make it. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I was thinking about food all the time, and the thing is, I really wanted to eat, but I was terrified of eating because I was terrified of being fat, and I was terrified of, yeah, so because that's the whole thing, and I mean that's what the heart of this entire weight loss thing mania is. It's because we live in a fat phobic society. So like, yeah, I was just by December 2016, I really wanted to, like, I really wanted to eat, man. I wanted to eat. But I was so afraid, and I was not yet, because I had forgotten what I used to eat. Like, I forgotten what it used to be to just eat whatever I wanted. I forgot what it was to, I couldn't remember how people, like, I would just, like, watch people just like, how are you eating like this? And how are you not getting fat? Bigger question. Like, yeah, I was so confused about how I even got through life for this moment, because I knew that this was not how I used to live before several months ago. So where can I find the way out of this? So like I was really like internally, subconsciously crying out, but I was still like actively practicing um restrictive behaviors and all that jazz. And then one day, yeah, I saw myself in the mirror, and I was just like, oh, 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 Jesus, no. Jesus, no. Like, oh my god, my clothes are not even fitting me anymore. I, I have to tie all of my pants, like, so, I don't, this is not what
I looked so good before. I looked so good before. I mean, I'm pretty sure I remember being happy with how I looked at a certain point. What got into my head? How do I go back from this? How blah, blah, blah.
And then I was just like, oh my god, this is just like, I've done the worst thing. And yeah, it was really like, it was really terrifying. I was just like, oh my god, I'm just like, I'm so, I can't, I have to eat, I have to eat, I have to eat. But now the big thing now was like, how do I get back to eating? Because like I said, I'm terrified of food. I'm terrified of getting fat. And so throughout that process, I had to do a lot of research because pretty much I did all of this by myself. I was living with my sisters, but like the relationships in my family is just as weird, especially like my relationship to my family, and it's a complicated story, and I'm not interested in getting into that. But like, there's just quite a lot of, there's been a lot of just kind of like, you know, everyone off in their corner type of vibe, and you know, that's not an issue because I'm a loner, but it's also a product of, yeah. So I thought you weren't gonna get into it. That's not me really getting into it. It's just to give you an idea. Yeah, so it's kind of like a natural thing for me anyway to just like, I do my thing and no one knows what I'm doing, like at all. Like, yeah. So, and then you'll probably just notice from a change in my appearance or something like that, or maybe you'll see me less or you'll see me more or blah blah, but I'm not gonna tell you. You can ask, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to be like, so I'm doing this and that and that and that and that. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just like everyone has a different life experience that allows them to do certain things. Yeah, that facilitates those things. You know, you can do whatever. It facilitates those things. So anyway, blah blah. So I was pretty much like, yeah, doing all that jazz by myself. So I was like, okay, well, where do I go? Blah blah. What do I do? And also another thing about me is that I enjoy being self-sufficient. So I really always want to figure it out because I like the sense of pride when you do something yourself. Oh, I love that. So anyway, I went online and I started like looking for, you know, how to start eating again, like normal eating. Normal eating was actually the first thing that I started looking into when I was trying to like, yeah, I was like, how did I go back to normal eating, like to eating normal? And then I found a bunch of different things, like different people writing things, and that's how I started learning about the essentially the food recovery world and really connecting to your body and your body's wisdom and all that jazz and what it wants. Yeah, because it's especially crucial. I mean, it's always crucial to do that because, you know, you're gonna be fed bullshit and you need to be digesting the right stuff. So like it opened my eyes to my connection to how I eat, and it made me feel relieved as well. So I can see out my window, and I'm just, yeah, peeking. Yeah, it made me feel relieved that someone else knew how I was feeling, and that I could actually regain that unconscious relationship to food, that absolutely carefree, just, you know, eat whatever the fuck and whatever the fuck and whatever the fuck. And another big part of this recovery process was having to deal with the fact that I had those fat phobic fears and getting over that. Like, that was really, and that is the biggest thing that every single other person who has recovered from, okay, I would say not just starvation, but specifically recovered from starvation that is self-inflicted, for physical aesthetic purposes. Yeah, and this is something that I found out throughout this process because I started like watching a lot of videos of other chicks who've gone through this, reading a lot of different blogs, Reddit, and all that jazz, like everything. And everyone's biggest fear is, oh my god, I don't want to be fat. And then like The thing that's so great is that with this recovery process is it makes you just realize that fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you for a second for believing that there's anything wrong with being fat at all. Some people are. Some people are completely naturally, and they are gorgeous and beautiful. Fuck you for fearing being that when there's nothing wrong with it. Um, Grow a pair. Grow the fuck up. And anyway, you were a skinny bitch before you started this weight loss, so you're not gonna be fat now just because you have this ridiculous fear that's gone into your mind unfairly to the population of people who are larger. Beautiful bitches. So, like, yeah, I'm a very staunch supporter of people who are considered overweight now because, yeah, I'm just, it's horrible. It's really horrible. Um, it's racist, but with size. I mean, we know this, but it's just like, are you really aware of this? Are you really? So anyway, like I got over that fear. It was not easy. Like I'm saying, like I got over that fear, but it really wasn't just like, um, but what I can say is that although it wasn't a snap for me to get over the fear, like the way that I went about my recovery process was a snap. Like I just threw myself all in and I was like, I am fucking hungry and I just feel like I need to follow my heart because I was listening to these things. I was like, you know what, my body, even though I don't really feel like I know what my body is saying because I've been fucking it up for so long, but it's not even listening. It's not talking to me anymore because it's like it doesn't trust me. Um, but I'm really trying to just, get a sense of what's happening there. And I really feel like my body's just like, bitch, eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and never stop eating until you feel 100% full. Because you know the feeling of being full. You know the feeling of like, oh, I don't want to eat anymore. I feel truly done. You have not felt that feeling in months. You will not stop eating until you feel, oh, I'm fully done. So I just like, and it was really scary because it was scary as shit. But I was like, I was too hungry. So like I got like some more hype, reading a bit more blogs of like people who pretty much got the same intuitive feeling that I got. Because throughout this thing, I learned that there's two camps in the recovery process. I mean, I'm sure there's actually more, but there's two main camps. In the recovery process, the recovery community, and you have the people who are, you have the people who recover from all these obsessive, compulsive, especially restrictive eating and aesthetic, aesthetic-driven disorders. Because some people have eating disorders, and it's not because of an aesthetic thing. It's just because they've also triggered the obsessive compulsion, and now they've fallen into the habit. But most people, I mean, most people, but yeah, we know very well that a large majority of people who have these things is because of the aesthetic thing. Okay, so the two camps of recovery from eating disorders, and starvation and so on, for aesthetic purposes. So you have the people who recover, the people who are recovering. I mean, I guess like one thing I should really say is that there's no, I mean, if you recover and you're no longer practicing those things, that's fantastic. But having said that, there are two very clear levels of this recovery process. You have the people who recover and they recover 100%. Like they recover not just physically and just like, in terms of habitually, but you can really sense that they've recovered holistically. Their spirit has recovered, their emotions have recovered. They completely have changed. They've gone through a complete paradigm shift in relation to the world that they live in. So they no longer hold these fat phobic beliefs. They no longer hold restrictive. They no longer hold moral judgments on food. They no longer say, okay, like, it's healthy to have like one slice of pizza every now and then. That that is still, the whole that type of sentence, one slice of pizza every now and then, it seems like it's allowing, but it's actually not. It's still very restrictive. So this is pretty much the second camp. The second camp of people is those who are like, okay, well, I'm still gonna try to maintain my health the way that society says health goes. So they're no longer going to be, they're no longer going to be obsessive in that way, blah blah, like through the process, but they're actually still very scripted and formatted, and not really eating freely. So they haven't recovered the freedom of nourishment, and the freedom of nourishment is that gut feeling, is your intuition. And what I can say is that throughout my process, the people, while I was like looking at these different videos, I was like, I don't fucks with this. I don't fucks with this, like, get back in the frame. Get back in the frame. I don't fucks with this, like, yeah, I don't fucks with this camp. It's just like, if to me, it's just like, you guys are very clearly still afraid to do certain things, and that's not how I want to live. I want to be free. I don't want to have any fear, any restrictions at all, because I didn't used to. I want to get that feeling again, and I'm not someone who likes to live with discomfort in any way. It pisses me off. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I mean,
really? You don't like discomfort? That's so... You're so like, unique for that. Anyway.
But I mean, actually does make sense. I try to remove those things that make me uncomfortable. I don't want to put up with it. So it's the same thing with that. So I was like, okay, I don't fuss with this. I fuss with that. And so I went into, so that being like the camp of the people who have just completely let go and completely released and are just like free flowing, and they're wild and free, and you can tell by the way that they speak, these niggas is free. So like two people, and that I would like suggest, if you're going through these same things, and most likely you are, but let me not assume, are the two women that just like, they just changed it all. There's actually three, but the third one I can never remember, but it was through both of them actually that I learned of the third. So one is Caroline Dooner. She has a blog called The Fuck It Diet. So she pretty much explains her journey, and it's a similar, it's a similar overall journey. It's the same thing of, you grew up with those issues, and then afterwards you realize, oh my god, I want to like not be like this anymore because this is horrible. And then she went on a fuck it diet, and what she called the fuck it diet, and it was pretty much the same thing of just kind of like realizing that she wanted to eat, and she just wanted to eat and eat whenever and however and blah blah, and then she just went into it. So I keep on saying, well, she just went into it. I'm gonna explain what that is, but yeah, and then she just felt free, and throughout the process of recovering, she regained that awareness of herself and of what she wants and when she wants and blah blah blah, because again, the gut is connected to the intuition. The gut is the heart. The gut is like, yeah, it's the heart. It's the emotional heart.
Yeah, of the soul, the gut, in the soul, your emotional heart. So
same thing for Elisa Doris. Sorry. So Elisa Doris is the second one. So she has a YouTube channel, actually. Caroline Dooner does not have a YouTube channel. At least she didn't at the time where I was. So this was in 2017. So beginning of 2017, by January 2017, I was like, now, okay, yeah. So it was the second week in January 17 that I officially started eating again, like crazy. And yeah, so I'll talk about this crazy eating after. Yeah, so Elisa Doris, she has a YouTube channel. Her thing is called Follow the Intuition, and pretty much she is the one who, I mean, they were both, but because of her YouTube channels, it was very comforting to have, like, yeah, it was comforting to have a face saying, okay, what you're going through now is what I went through, and I recovered, and blah blah. And what's more, she also knows, I mean, because she's gone through the process, she addresses all the fears that you feel. And the biggest fear is always the, oh my god, the weight gain. And then afterwards, like, when you get into that, when you start eating again, and when you, like, hit the water retention and you just are losing your mind, oh shit. So pretty much through the starvation process. So I recommend checking those chicks out. I will definitely leave a link. So what happens when you recover from starvation is 36 minutes. Ha ha ha. 14 minutes to go. Away. This is long. 11:11. I wish for financial independence. What do you wish for? So, when you recover from starvation, like I was saying, your body needs to go through a phase of extreme hunger. So the phase of extreme hunger is the scariest phase when you're recovering, because this is hunger like you've never felt before. This is extreme hunger, and it's aptly named. Alright, and so I was talking about a third woman, right? So that third woman, she's a researcher. And she's a researcher who gets a lot of flack from the camp of people who are all about the weight loss world, who are all about that weight loss mindset, because she essentially debunks these beliefs that people have around weight gain and weight management and understanding hunger and psychological hunger and all these things. And yeah, so reading through, like, and yeah, research as well as about the process of recovery and the physiological changes in the body and all that jazz. So yeah, like I was saying, she gets a lot of flack from the camp of people who are like, oh my god, no, but I want to hold on to this ideal that skinny is the only way to be right in this white world, you know? Like, no man, don't say things like, I can actually, like, no man, I don't want to hear that you're freaking me out. So, but yeah, her research was, like, also really helpful, and there was really one thing, especially in all those things of hers that I read, I really don't remember her name at all, like, at all, but she has a website and she has a bunch of different articles, and they're all dope. So
One thing, yeah.
the thing that really that allowed me, part of the things was when she spoke about, yeah, she just brought up the fact that psychological hunger is still hunger. Hunger is not just a physical feeling, hunger is a holistic thing. And, you know, that goes back to the whole intuition. Like, intuition is holistic, so it doesn't just apply to one aspect of your life. So you can be led to eating for any reason. And eating is not a bad thing. This is just me saying this now. Eating is not a bad thing, but just, yeah, you can be led to eating for any reason, and the point is, if your mind goes towards food, it's not for nothing, and if you feel that hunger, if you feel that desire for food, just go for it. Follow your cravings. So pretty much, like, yeah, that was really the thing about cravings, the intuition of cravings, and no matter how much your conscious mind may not see the sense in craving something, your body knows that there's something in that which you crave that it wants. And once you satisfy the craving, you do feel better. So, so that was a part of the things, like, it was one of those things I just, like, I held on to, and I was like, okay, it's a hook that helps me know how to go about my recovery process. Like, yes, I'm just, like, eating, but I still am feeling afraid, and I want to feel safe, and blah blah, and I was like, okay, this is making me feel like what I think I should do is right. I should just eat, and I should follow all these cravings, and I have cravings constantly all the time, non-stop. Every single thought I have is a food craving. So I let go and I started eating, and I just did not fucking stop. I would eat all the time. So for 6 weeks, I had my extreme hunger. Some people have it for a lot longer. It depends on how long you've been starving yourself. So it's proportionate to the amount of time you've been starving yourself. And it's also proportionate to how much you're eating. Like, if you eat a lot, and fast, you are gonna recover faster. Yeah. Because the recovery process can really suck. The recovery process is psychologically devastating, because when you go through the water retention phase, all your fears of getting fat come true. They actually come true. It happened to me. So, look, I wasn't fat, but I mean, yeah, I was far larger than I'd ever been. And I really actually was. I was bloated. I was really like, yeah. And it was because of the water retention, and it's a process that happens so before your body goes back to normal. So it's like you've been super skinny and now you're giving food again. You just think that it's all gonna just grow back to the natural places, but that's not how it works. So all the food is gonna first go to the important places, which is the midsection, because that's where all your internal organs are. So you're naturally gonna have you're gonna have like bloating around there, and it's crazy. The bloating is so fucking weird. Like, sometimes it's hard, like a pregnant stomach. Um, and it's huge. So when I first got the bloating, like, because it starts first there, and then it will spread. Then it'll start to spread a bit, and it'll stay for until your body like evens out again, and that can be months. So so okay, so there's like the three phases. There's you start eating again, and then a couple of days later, if you're eating non-stop, so you eat like 5 times as much as you would normally eat if you eat just like a normal person. So let's say someone who has like a decent amount of meals in a day and stuff. When you're going through extreme hunger, you eat 5 times that, because you need to because you're in debt. You're in an energetic debt to your body. There's so many calories that you thought were so bad for you. But they were actually everything that was keeping you alive and functional and smart and pretty. Um, lol. Yeah, so now you need to pay all that stuff back. You need to pay all that stuff back. And depending on how long you've been starving yourself, and yeah, how hard, like,
I'm watching The Office right now. That's what she said.
yeah, so that can take a long time. So that first phase is you start eating after a couple days, and then you'll first get the stomach. So it was hilarious. I was like super skinny, but I had this huge ass stomach. I was just like, and then a couple days after that, it will start to even out more. You'll start to notice how now your cheeks are filling up, and now everywhere is filling up. Places where you never even had is now filling up, and the skin is like wrinkly, not even wrinkly, but cellulite-y. Yeah, because you're retaining water and stuff. So you're pretty much bloated everywhere, and it's a change. It's a change from everything you ever were, and it's terrifying. But then the more you eat, the more you eat, the more you eat. But then, like, it's not in a couple of weeks that it goes away at all. My God, I spent months crying. I was like, oh my God, 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 and it was just really an eye opener. Yeah, it was an eye opener, because I was not used to looking the way that I did, and I was not used to being treated the way that I was treated with this new body, this recovery body. And it was really humbling, because yeah, I felt very unattractive, because the way that these deposits of fat come back, it's not even, it's a very uneven, disproportionate appearance. So it's just kind of like, you can see that this person is going through a change. It's not natural. It's not blended, essentially.
It's like, you didn't blend it, and it's sweat.
But it's cool, you know? It's a sign of health. It's beautiful. So this is one of the things that I really, like, came to accept through this process. Like, you're beautiful all the time, no matter what, because you don't get to live a life of every day. It's not right. But you should live a life of every day feeling like you don't have value, and you aren't beautiful, and you can't XYZ. And I really tried to let go every day. The longer this recovery body, this disproportionate, like, everything I was afraid of, body maintained, I really tried to let go of everything I thought before. And yeah, like, my eyes really opened quite immensely. And the great thing is that after 6 weeks, my extreme hunger, like, evened out. I was no longer, but it happened completely naturally. I was just like, I'm not going to put any conscious restrictions or any conscious commands on how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to follow my heart and my emotional heart, my gut. I'm going to eat whenever I think food, and that happens to be every 2 minutes, and that is exactly how I was eating. Every 2 fucking minutes. I would wake up in the middle of the night and stay up for the entire night just to eat, because that's what I needed to do. And then I would sleep a lot, because you're also super exhausted. That's a big thing. That's also terrifying, because you go from being so active, and you are very active, and people who tend to have these things also tend to be quite active. You just need to be doing things so you can feel like everything is in order, or whatever the fuck, or like I'm doing something right, you know, just, it's obsessive. So being so exhausted, like very, very fatigued, because all the energy is going towards recovering the body, you feel like you're not doing something right, you feel like you're being a slacker, you feel like you're blah blah. So everything is coming together to make you realize that what's most important is the health of your vessel, and not all these neurotic thoughts that are actually leading you in the wrong place. So I really appreciated going through that, because it really taught me how to eat normally again, because then after that I no longer worried about it, and I no longer worry about it anymore. And I will say that I still had avoidant issues of like, oh my god, I know I must eat, but I don't feel like eating. It's like, no, you have to eat, you have to eat, you have to eat. Eating is beautiful, eating is beautiful, eating is beautiful. So then it became a process of having to check the just the procrastination towards eating. But then I remembered, and I still do, that eating is life. Eating is beautiful, and I don't take it for granted at all. I love that shit. I will do it all the time, and I try to give food to those who do not have any, because food is everything, and fitness is holistic.
So I actually realized that I didn't ever say at the end of the video what it was that was contradictory to the fact that I used to restrict food for the purposes of aesthetic results. So what's ironic is that 3 days ago, 3 days ago, it's going to be 72 hours in, oh, fuck, in like, oh, let me do the math, okay, in like 16 hours. So in 16 hours, it's going to be 72 hours since I've been fasting. Fasting zero food. All I've had is water. And yeah, I'm really hungry. But I'm fasting not for physical purposes. I'm fasting for spiritual purposes, because I want fulfillment and change to come in my life. And I'm trying a lot of things, and it just doesn't feel like things are moving. So changing myself to change my circumstances. And yeah, I'm quite excited to be eating again in 16 hours. OMG. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing this every single day of your life, because, you know, you gotta eat. But I do recognize that there's reasons to modify the body, or, yeah, to fuck with its works for something. higher than yourself. Mainly fasting. Oh wait, so that's just what I wanted to add. That was a contradiction, but it's going towards better things. I'm not now going back to restriction. You bet your ass as soon as I can eat, I'm gonna eat a lot. Oh, I'm so fucking excited.